Hi everybody, my name is Gerry and this is week 5 of the weekly Photo Africa chat. It's been quite a week. I'm back in Madikwe, as you can see. It's a bit bright still, hell of a cold. But anyway, we're back here. There's a lot of bird noises, so no excuse if they bother. Quick catch up from last week. We ran a Wildlife Photography 101 workshop. Absolutely fantastic. We had people up there who, with us shooting, who have never shot a camera before. They've literally picked up a camera for the first time. And to by the end of the weekend have these guys producing the images they were producing is just fantastic. Now, I am doing a workshop report on the last workshop we did, but that'll be up a bit later or early next week. But what I wanted to try and pick up from there, and we spoke about this on the workshop as well, and I have mentioned this before, the only way, or the best way rather, that you can learn as a photographer is to talk to people. It's about conversation. In a group, in an open forum like a workshop, where it's not a lecture thing where you have to shoot like this. It's a talk thing. We talk about everything. I mean, why did you do this? Why didn't you do that? Why did you try that? Why didn't you try that? And that's what it's about. Now, that got me thinking. I'm reading a book now by, it's called The New Rules of Marketing and PR by David Meerman Scott. All about how to use social media, integrate it into your marketing and PR and things like that. And what he does is he kind of draws a parallel between the web as we know it, Facebook, Twitter, blogs, email, all that, and a big city, so a web city, if you will. Now, the idea with all the social media things is it's pretty much like a cocktail party. This is an analogy now. And I got thinking on it as well, as if you arrive at a cocktail party, like think your Facebook and your Twitter, and you've got a bunch of images in your pocket that you've taken and you're very proud of, you're not just going to storm in there and push them in everybody's faces and say how wonderful it is and everything. There needs to be conversation. Now, I'm not quite sure where I'm going with this, but we started talking about the workshop, and this as well now. And if you look at how some people and how you present your images online, try and keep in mind that everybody has a way of thinking about their own work. Right? We're all proud of what I hope you're proud of what you do. But there's a way that you need to present it. There needs to be, you need to put it out there for people to enjoy, but you need to try and create conversation about it, and that's the most important thing. I think, me personally, I think there's too many people out there splashing images on all these websites. I mean, from Flickr to Facebook and all this. And it's similar, walking into a cocktail bar and shoving these pictures in people's faces. There needs to be a conversation. People need to get to know who you are, and ultimately by viewing your work in a calm, more easy way, they'll see what you're really looking for. I mean, what is your inspiration? What do you look for? When you go out there, what do you shoot? In future, we're probably going to talk more about the whole social media world, because it is a world, and we're all getting closer and closer together. So I'm going to pick up on that in future. It's just this thought I have around my mind about how some people present their work online. And also, you don't want to walk into a place, someone shows you their picture, they're very proud of it, and you blast them from nowhere saying, but look, the horizon's skew and your color's all wrong and everything. There's a way in which I think we need to do these things for all of us to grow as photographers. We're all at different levels, and I think the reality is that there will always be millions of people that are better than you, and me and everybody else. But on the flip side as well, there are also people that look up to your work and think, you know what, I want to shoot like them. So in future, I'm going to play with the ideas and see where we come out, but there's a way in which you present your work, present yourself, and interact with images online. But yeah, I think we'll pick up on that, because that's a whole different thing. And once I'm maybe finished with this book, we'll talk more about that. Link to the book and all those will again be under this blog. The Lightroom tutorial from last week, thanks for all the feedback, great stuff. We are going to keep it quite simple initially, and then we'll grow into it. It's just I'm toying with the idea. If you want more, if you want less, let me know and we'll add it in. I have done another short one for today, and we're going to be looking at color in Lightroom, how you can use the two vibrance and saturation, those two sliders, and how they affect your images. It's a short one. There's 3 example images which you play with. Go and try them, and then come back and let me know what you think. Right, so I'll see you on the other side of this tutorial. Off we go. Okay, for the second Lightroom tutorial here on the weekly chat, I thought we'd have a look at color and how you can add and subtract those very simply using 2 sliders in the develop module. Images we're using today, again, these are all the raw files, no touches yet. We're not going to look at anything else, just the color sliders. 2 ostriches in a very happy field here. Lioness, bit of a yawn with green grass behind, and then my wife, Adele and Ziggy. I'm going to look at these, how the skin tones get affected when you change the color of an image. Right, click on my first one, come up, click on the develop module, and here we go. Now you'll see what I've done here is I've taken the slider bar on the side. From that, pull it over a little bit to there. Just makes it easier for you guys to see what's happening. Now all of these sliders, we're not using any of these except for vibrance and saturation down here. Saturation, this is like in the old days and the older programs, saturation affects every single color in this image. So if I change this up or down, it'll either take all the colors up or all the colors down. Vibrance, this is a beautiful thing, only affects the colors that need a little bit of help. Your computer is very clever, or Adobe Lightroom, very clever, in that it determines which images are lacking in the image, and those are the one that gets popped. So let's start with vibrance to have a look what we're comparing to. If I click and hold on my slider, I move over to the right to increase. So watch the image as we go. You see there's a bit of color coming through. I'm going to pop over and stop it round about, let's say, I don't know, 45, somewhere there. Right, when I refer to 45, it's the number down here. It's just a reference for me of where we are. Right, so there we are. 45 on vibrance gives me that. If I click down, compared to the original, before and after, huge difference. Very nice difference. It's made that image come alive beautifully. And think, we didn't do anything else. If I open up to my original image, that's what I've got. Now, remember, this is vibrant, so the computer chose which colors to bring out. Works very well. If I double click on my slider here, it takes it back to original image. And now, if I take my saturation slider up to the same amount, 45, watch what happens. Click and hold. Watch the image on the left, see how it goes. Alright, we're approaching 20 and we're already very bright. Keep going. Ugh, it's just dropping. We're going to stop at 45. We need that comparison. There we go. Right. Now have a look. If we compare that to the first one, this is my raw image, and that is my final image with saturation added. Way too much. I mean, obviously you can see here, these reds are too strong, the yellows are starting to get a bit intrusive. This is your typical, I don't know, I've just started digital processing since I bought my new camera, and I'm going to overdo everything syndrome. Don't do it. Be careful of pushing the saturation too high. Double click, takes it back to normal. Right, let's try the same thing on my next image. Lioness. These are more subtle. There's not too dramatic a color variation here. But let's go on the vibrant slider. Same thing. Pull that up. Let's aim for about 45 again. Same as the previous one. Right. That is quite a bit. But you'll see now here, it almost is acceptable. If I compare it to the original, definitely a big difference. But if we look closely, you can see it is starting to push the limit a bit. However, remember, this is 45. This is a big change. Same thing on saturation now. Let's double click, take it back to normal. Saturation, I'm going to go for 45, same as the top. And we are there. Now you can see it gets ridiculous again. I mean, it just gets too strong. Absolutely, there's a time and a place for artistic interpretation and all that, but that's a lot of color. I mean, you don't want to overdo it that much. Preferably, zero that one, and rather add with vibrance until the image comes alive, somewhere maybe there, and then you've got a nice image. If you compare to the previous one, a little bit of color added, more alive than the first one, but not overdone. Be very careful of overdoing the saturation slider. Right, one more last look at these two vibrants. On a portrait like this with human skin, with white skin, is if you take vibrance and you up. Now this is increasing the saturation throughout the image. Have a look. Look at the hair, look at the blue collar and so on. It's popping a bit. You can see there's a bit of warmth to the skin now as well. This is on 54. If I try that with saturation, 54, you can see this is going nowhere fast. Right. It picks up the oranges and just overdoes it completely. So, nice thing with vibrance, when you're shooting portraits, it does maintain, I can up it quite a bit, it maintains the skin tones. Very nice to use. Back to normal. So, if we go look at these two again, vibrance and saturation. Saturation takes all the images in the frame and ups them or down, and vibrance will only take the one that are needed to make your image pop a little bit. There's my 3 original images. Give it a try. Let me know what you think. I'll see you next week for the next tip. Alright, and we're back. So, that was just a little bit of color and how you can work with color in your images. Very important. Like I said in that tutorial, don't push saturation too far. It starts looking like you're overdoing it and it's just not nice. Balance, and that's, I suppose, with everything the same. Product review for today. Very quick look at. Now, this is an interesting one. I'm going to just check these two out and tell me what you think. Right. 2 lenses. That's a 70-200. That's a 70-200. That is the newest Nikon, and this is the newest Canon. They're both black. Right. Now, there's nothing else to this And we're not going down the Nikon Canon. We've been there, done that. We might revisit it later on. What I'm after here is LensCoat. Right. For all the rental equipment that we have, I got these LensCoats recently. Now, it's a neoprene cover that fits onto the different segments, protecting the lenses. Your controls are still open. You can see all the details. Every little piece of this is protected. Nice, sticky inside. Beautiful to feel. So I decided to go black with everything for no other reason that I personally think the camo ones, it's a bit porno. It's rough. I mean, you arrive in a game viewer and you got all these camo guys. Just look like warfare. My opinion. Sorry. Okay, moving on. But the black works well. It is a fantastic, fantastic product. And another thing I'm a sucker for, and this is from going to a restaurant to a website anywhere, is good service. I do not think I've had this kind of service from any brand or product in a very long while. Scott, who does LensCoats, obviously it's a beautiful industry, beautiful product, but these guys rock. If you have a lens, I mean, they even do them for the small, I think the 14-24s and the 16-35s. From the small lenses you can get them, but everything from my 70-200s up to the 600s we got these products for. I mean, you're not going to spend money on a lens like this, or like this if you're Nikon, sorry, moving on, and not protect it. This is a phenomenal product. Service is A-class, check them out. I'll have that link at the bottom of the image, bottom of the post again for you. So that's the one definitely to check out. If you have any ideas on different products you want me to have a look at or to try, or if you've got any ideas and input with regards to Lightroom or ideas on how you show your images and so on and so forth, I'd love to hear from you. The feedback's been great. I'm still excited about all this thing. There's a bunch of new things coming up very, very shortly. I cannot talk about it yet, but as they say, watch this space. Stay tuned. Right, that's about it. Look me up on Facebook, hook up on Twitter, and yeah, let's share some images. Let's get a conversation going, because that's how all of our images are going to get better. If I'm in Johannesburg, which probably in about 4 to 5 weeks we'll be there again, prepping for the next workshops, give me a shout. Let's meet up. Always great. I mean, let's take this community thing to a next level. And whether you like it or not, this is part of a community. If you're on Facebook, if you're watching this, if you're on Twitter, we have started a conversation. Let's keep it going. I look forward to your comments. Have a good week. I am off from tomorrow, back in the bush, doing some shoots. So yeah, new images coming up, probably on Facebook, blog, all of those. Have a look. Have a good weekend. I'll see you on the other side. Enjoy.